Goldylocks Productions broadcasts universal cosmic frequencies that unlock, awaken, and expand the consciousness of our worldwide viewers and listeners. Goldylocks Productions presents Enlightening Conversations with Pam Silver Eagle.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Perch. It's Tuesday, and we've had such an amazing few days, and wow, we are. I just got this download to invite a very special guest on my show, and so I want to. First of all, I am Pam Silver Eagle. Pretty sure still, yeah. We have to keep checking these things. So Pam Silver Eagle, for those of you who may be for first timer on the Perch, and again, I welcome everyone, and whether you're watching and joined us live here now, or whether you're watching in a time that's more convenient for you, we know that all is fluid, and so all is in divine order and perfect time. And I have with me today this very special gift of a soul. This is my friend Valerie Szarek, and she is located, her home base is in Colorado territory. So I want to just really give honor to all that this amazing soul is and brings to the earth plane. She is an award-winning poet, a Native American flute player. Her poems are healing, present, political, and shamanic, and cross between the seen and unseen worlds effortlessly. Val's music and words are medicine for our world. She is a shamanic practitioner, a ceremonialist, a musician, and an artisan. Her words and native flute are featured at festivals and events around Colorado, including the International Young Leadership Conference, Stage C, the Mercury Cafe, the Telluride Literacy Festival, Ziggy's Poetry Festivals, and beyond. Val was awarded the Poet of the Year title in 2018 in Denver. So some amazing honors. And she teaches soul-centered writing workshops. And certainly in this time of this great reset, of this spiritual global retreat, as I call it, many have been taking to pen and writing and journaling and being creative. And so I'm sure Val is going to have some great opportunities to help mentor people along the way and bringing through their creativity and sharing. Really exciting news is what really prompted me to reach out to Val at this time. Is we are celebrating the release of her new book. It is titled Soar Ready, SOAR Ready. So we are all soaring and to new levels. This is a book of medicine poems for a changing world. Just this past week been released. Val, so everyone, welcome Val, and I'm so honored and grateful. Thank you for landing here with us.
Thank you so much, and I love being on the Perch and landing because I'm going to start in with a poem about that. This is my book that dropped on Wednesday. I've had it in my hand since Wednesday. Soar Ready, Medicine Poems for a Changing World, with a red-tailed hawk. And there's the back. And navigating the camera here. So I invite us all to come together and breathe for a moment and drop in and arrive on the Perch.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll play us in. Soar ready. I had my feathers replaced today, along my shoulders and the back of my neck. The old ones hardly catching the currents anymore. I'd forgotten to molt and hung on to everything I'd ever had. Today, I let go, plucked the disheveled and replaced them with the grand. Part angel, part great blue heron, and downy owl feathers along my spine. I don the taloned feet of hawk, firm, relaxed, unfettered by storms. I see the moon different, shadows as friends. Thank you.
Oh, that is indeed good medicine, sacred sister. Wow.
Thank you, sacred sister. So I
Mm.
want to talk about that poem and this book. That it's so amazing to sit here with you and hold this book in my hands after 3 years of writing and working on this. And this, for me, everything can be sacred medicine, everything. And what I am so grateful that I have the privilege of being able to receive words and offer them an invitation to come with me, to go somewhere. And then in my invitation, there's always a return. So if you come with me, I will always bring you back safe. Hopefully changed, like all good art, but safe and more in your body and more. One of my favorite words is resource, resourceful, resourced. And in this changing, spinning, rising frequency universe we're in, which, I mean, the megahertz, the frequencies are scientifically proven to be rising at such a level that for the last 20, 30 years, the military even has to keep calibrating weapons because the frequency's rising. And so in this rising frequency and this clearing and the shadows being brought forth and shattered, and we keep shattering so we can maybe it's our eggshells keep shattering so we can keep being born and come back in a different way. How do you perch? How do you find your ground? How do you resource? And how do you come back? So that's what I think I might want to talk about.
Yeah.
And I want to start with the poem as a jumping off place. So soar ready. And so this poem was dropped into me as a download. I wrote it whole. I received it and I wrote it whole. And I felt it like in a shamanic healing, you may be dismantled and taken apart as a deep healing where you can just come back together in a new wholer way. So I let go of my feathers today. I had my feathers replaced today along my shoulders and the back of my neck. The old ones hardly catching the currents anymore. I'd forgotten to let go. I'd forgotten to molt and hung on to everything I ever had. So like how we protect ourselves and how we nest, like we just, you know, put it all around us. I'd forgotten to molt and hung on to everything I'd ever had. So today I let go, which means when you let go, you end up a naked little bird. Really, kind of, you have this tenderness, you have this vulnerability and this sensitivity for a while. So there's a little time between I let go, today I let go. Replace the disheveled with the grand, and we can keep doing that. We're doing it without trying, I believe, in this holy world. When we do let go, we do replace with some grand. So part angel, part great blue heron, which is unlikely bird, the way that thing flies on those long, with those long legs, and part angel, part great blue heron, and downy owl feathers, the stealthy, quiet one along my spine. I don the taloned feet of hawk, firm, relaxed, unfettered by storms. You know, the hawk rests on that perch. And then we get to see the moon, different shadows as friends from that resourceful, grounded space. And so that poem came in about 3 years ago, and I recite it often. I have that poem embodied, and the IRS agent who audited me knows this poem. The therapist, the doctor,
beautiful,
the clerks at the deli. I was buying a washing machine at Home Depot last year, and the salesman was way over busy. He was the only salesman, and people were coming, 2 or 3 people were coming from different departments, constantly asking him questions. And he was getting a house full of new carpet that day, so his phone kept ringing from his wife. And then the Home Depot phone kept ringing that he had to keep answering. And he was selling a woman a refrigerator. And I had to get to my art studio. I had to get to work. And by the time he was ready to work with me, he was a really big guy, kind of sweating, really stressed, multitasking, and really cranky, curmudgeonly. And at one point he said, "What's your name again?" And I said,
I'm hot.
He said, "Call me poet. It's easy to remember." He said, "You're a poet." And he's typing and answering the phone. I said, "Yes." And I'm watching him. And I said, "Would you like to hear a poem?" And he said, "Yes." And he stopped everything.
Wow.
And I recited that poem for him. And he sobbed. He sobbed. I put my arms out. He's a towering guy. He put his arms around me and got my shirt wet with his tears and shook and sobbed. And then we backed away, and he said, "I see you have 6 months interest free to pay for your washing machine, but here, call this number and say you're supposed to have 12 months. Like these poems open doors because we don't have the sense of stopping and seeing each other.
Yes.
So 1.5 minute long poem. So to invite and to strap in and to have that little bit of a, I see you and I honor you and you're important. That moment changes everything.
Yes. Yes. And that's how, you know, with these beautiful creations and whatever our sacred gifts are and whatever our, you know, our skills, when we bring them into the earth plane, in our walkabout every day, and so needed more than ever, I think. You know, that's how we shine the light and the love. And, you know, I believe this, however many months we've been on these stay-at-home orders and this intentional separation, it is really helped. There's so many blessings to this time, and I've been really experiencing some great manifestation, really as a result to this, you know, this time of reset or spiritual retreat or global spiritual retreat, however we want to call this time. That is, we are shifting this, our whole earth plane, of course, is shifting. We're co-creating this new earth, and you know, this this story you just shared with us is so powerful. I remember you had told me of it, seemingly maybe not long after it happened originally. And I was down in Florida, and we were talking on the phone, and, this many months forward, and, more than ever, this is about the coming together and, just helping our brothers and sisters along the journey. And what a heartfelt way for you to do that. Like you said, in the midst of this salesperson's muchness, there you were. You appeared as this angel, and just pause, get him right into the now moment, and the beauty of the way in which you delivered it, and then the reciprocal, the gifts, the giving and the receiving, the giving and receiving, and that's where we're at. In speaking of this new age of Aquarius, that we're just like this week through the gateway. Moon that we've just experienced and are still feeling, and the Lion's Gate, and is opening all this new way of beingness that we've talked many times on this platform and so many others, is we have to do our work, our own work, right? Our inside work. And when we do that, we all have different contracts and agreements here, and those of us that have come as the Wayshowers, the medicine men, the medicine women, the lights, we've gotten clear, and we can assist others who may not be as awakened at this time, or in a lot of fear. And this is how we all help each other. Sometimes it's a smile. Sometimes it's something as grand as what you had an opportunity to share. But again, that story, I think, is what you said happened. It took place a number of months ago, and this is such a fear-based society. So many are in fear, and it's creating so many physical illnesses. And it's so important to just help bring each other into the now moment, whatever that is that we do. For me, I create nature journeys for people and sacred medicine walks, and praying flute is just another beautiful way. All the different types of art. This is the time that we're really consciously stepping into doing these things with intention. And when we become that sacred love within, we automatically share it. We don't have to think about it. It doesn't have to be, a thought process of, oh, I'm going to do something good for somebody today. It's just our way of being. And in the return, we all need the support and the helping hand, or the hand up, or the embrace often at this time. And, that's what we're here to do. And so platforms like this and so many others are a great way to help show others what we have to offer. And so that's beautiful, Val. It's
Thank you. The invitations, and I just heard a really interesting term for me, and at first I didn't like it. I had this I heard about a book called something about our weak relationships, honoring or cultivating weak relationships. And I thought, well, what is that? But what it was referring to is the salesman at Home Depot, the clerk, the guy who takes my card and helps me pay when I drive through the car wash. And just like when I go to a restaurant, I will never let somebody wait on me without asking them their name. It's really important for me to speak their name back to them and look them in the eyes for a moment. Last week I went to breakfast with a friend, sat outside at a table distance. It's navigating the virus time. And the waitress had a mask on, and my friend said she's celebrating the birth of her book, that I was celebrating the birth of my book. And the waitress was so excited about this. And she said, "Oh, I want to celebrate this. That's huge. I want to give you a free dessert." And so she had me choose a dessert, this amazing cheesecake that they make. My little lion cat just came in and is saying hello. And he only really does that when I'm doing a healing. So he really feels the healing space here. So Felix, the cat, is here roaring a little bit to us. But she came back with this dessert box with congratulations and all these beautiful things in magic marker all over the box. And I asked her if she wanted to hear a poem. And I actually recited that poem. And she cried. And she had on rubber gloves, blue rubber gloves, and she's trying to wipe her tears with rubber gloves. And we can have these moments that makes these weak relationships sacred moments, and they're seeds. They're activations. But for me, what's important right here is the simplicity of the smile, of the thank you, of the I see you, I am here. It's called Sawubona in Africa. I forget what tribe. Maybe Zulu. I'm not sure, but it's there's a word called Sawubona, which I know I'm probably not speaking it right, and it means I see you, I am here. And I just love that the because we're all really, in reality, really is in a mirror. So it means that I exist within you, within our reflection and seeing each other. But it's also, if you imagine walking out in the savannah and coming upon a stranger, and you bow and say, "I see you, I am here," to each other. It's kind of saying there's no threat here. Here we are together. To me, that term is like you could just drop into that and go forever in that one thing.
Beautiful.
And back to that poem, "Soar Ready." It's a medicine, and it's a simple and not simple and deep, and it's actually been my life study for about 3 years, that poem, the way it's been affecting me. And it comes back, and I change, and it comes back, and I have my feathers replaced, and then I have them plucked again. And I was, when the book came out, I had a little dark night of the soul, saying, "Oh my gosh, here I am with my name here, and people are going to read this and judge my work." And I just was like scary to be this vulnerable. And I did a shamanic journey with the spirit of the book on Thursday. It arrived Wednesday, and a red-tailed hawk grabbed me none too gently and whipped me into the upper world. I'm like flailing around, and said, "You have been soar ready for 3 years. Now it's time to let go of that perch and soar." And that hadn't, they're like, "Come on, you've been soar ready, but you just like ready." But
ready, set.
And then I realized I went through a 3-4 day dark night of the soul with this book. Like, what if the price is wrong? What if the size is wrong? Just what if the print isn't dark enough? I mean, all that stuff, and of the vulnerability of such a big creation for me. And I realized that I've dropped into the last line of the poem, "Shadows as Friends," which I've been dancing around for 3 years, but I never understood it until this week. And so seeing how 3 years I've been living this poem, and I just dropped into the last line, shadows, the shadows took me over. And it's like, oh yeah, hello friend, I could have expected you to come in. How can I resource and be ready for this to arrive too? And love it like that lost child, not say, "Oh, I have to get to the light, I have to heal it, I have to get rid of it." It's like, "Hi friend, you little child, you who needs some love, You, come here. Let me hug you for a while. Let me have a friend hug you because I don't feel resourced enough for this. It's too big.
Beautiful. Yeah, this, I know this past weekend, some of the energies that we were all moving through, whether people were conscious of it or not, bringing up old triggers and, those old wounds and things that we elected as souls to bring upon ourselves so that we could, and so the opportunities to revisit and to hold ourselves in that divine motherly way of nurturing and love and care. It's that this balancing of the divine masculine and feminine energies, and it's been balance within and without for eons of time. And that what you just spoke is a way that you are being called to get back in there and really and hold yourself in that way. I've been really myself. I was telling another friend last evening that really holding myself with such deep divine love and compassion and acknowledging my courageous journey. Although we put things out, whether it be books or songs that may reflect and speak some of our journey, it is true that no one will ever quite know our deep journey except for ourselves. And so I've really been, acknowledging that. It seems like especially the last couple weeks, and it's it's a whole new level of self-love. And I think when we reach that point of acknowledging, seeing and holding that inner child and doing the forgiveness, self and others, it all goes away. We can just reach this purified state of divine love that really then, expands into this bliss. And that that is so available. Go ahead.
Well, I have a shamanic healing practice and an energy healing practice, and in my practice last year, I don't remember if it started with me or if it started with a client, but I did a soul retrieval, which means that you go out and you find something that presents that's an unhealed part that or a missing part that needs that wants to come in back into that person and help their wholeness and healing and their foundational strength. But what showed up to be retrieved was their innocence. Their innocence. And I did a big kind of a study last year on innocence within myself. I found myself starting to do soul retrievals on people's innocence, on myself, feeling like it resonates out to what we need in the country, in the world, is back to our it's the basis of all magic is our innocence, because you have to believe. You're not going to create magic if you don't believe. And it's really that child self. But and I kind of hear you saying that, and boy, when I'm in my innocence, that judgment isn't there. Like, oh my gosh, I crashed and burned, my book arrived, and who would crash and burn when their book arrives? I called a friend who told me that when her poetry book several years ago won one of the biggest awards in the country, or in the state for sure, no, in the country, she said the whole next day she got all these emails saying, oh, congratulations, but she had to hide under the covers on the couch all day and couldn't even get up. She was just destroyed and flattened. And it's like, I get that, but if I'm in my innocence, which is heart, which is being, which is having my feathers fluffed. I can
It's
write.
all the wounds and all the stories that have, that all the judgment from others since, we've come into the world, and what we brought in from other lifetimes, the judgments and the dances we do and the karmic cycles, the labeling and
Mm.
when we have these opportunities where we get triggered, and like you're saying, this is a time of celebration with this book. Well, there was still some things, of course, that you had to release to get to the point of, in this innocence, in this childlike being thrilled and excited about what you've put down. It's only the judgments that others have put on you, and judgments that we've put on ourselves, that now you're looking at this like it must be critiqued, this piece of art, this beautiful creation that you just brought into form, right?
Yeah, I'm the naked little bird. And then the question is, do I get to tell the truth? And do I get to put my name on it? I want to read a poem now.
Okay.
If I may.
Please.
That's been my medicine since the book has come out, that I'm excited about. And the title is Blue. Blue. They tried to make us good, to color inside thick lines, when we were already creating our own books. Ones where we knew we were good, whether or not we colored at all. Because why paste onto a page the changing sky, that infinite blue that we relegate into 4 letters, 1 word, a border, a crayon, too fat for small fingers. For the clouds' frustrated depths, we melt the crayon between our fingers to feel what it means to be the sky.
Wow. Mm.
Whew, chills. It's fun to get chills from my own poems. Little sentient beings that have arrived and said, can we please live and do our magic in the world? Will you please bring us to the world now?
And the blue jay calls out just as you're speaking.
So
I
want to say every little thing, everything heals everything. Every little thing is magic. Everything's alive unless it's dead, like some cut flowers that have died. But what can you find to return you? So revolution, Mark Nepo, I heard him say once that revolution is like just a quarter turn, can be a revolution. So what can quarter turn you? What can bring your foot lightly onto the perch? How can you remember yourself? How can you put yourself back together? How can you return, resource in this shedding time? So I've been clear for a couple years that we were entering a new paradigm. And it's funny, I love to look up words, because words are magic, especially on this planet. And so paradigm means really a break from the norm into a new norm, into a new place. And I knew we were in a paradigm shift. And the last couple years in my shamanic journeys, spirit, the guides kept giving me scrolls. And I would say, oh, you're giving me scrolls. And I would draw them in my sketchbook and draw the places I was seeing the scrolls. And the places were like the Great Pyramid, the Sphinx, the whales, places that some people associate to the Akashic, which is the Akashic is that cosmic library of everything that ever was and will be. And most of us healers, or a lot of us healers, tap into that area to help our clients. And anyway, you can see everything there, whatever was and will be. It's for me, it feels like a static place of knowledge. And so the guides kept giving me scrolls, and I realized that this was the Akashic records. And I said, "You're handing me my Akashic records. Are you telling me to read my Akashic records?" And finally they said, "No, we're telling you to write them."
Powerful.
Well, write your Akashic, because it exists. It's static. And they said, it's time to write your Akashic. And I thought, what does that mean? Well, it means that we are cracked into a new paradigm which has no past or future. So we create a new with words. Like in the beginning was the word. So we're back to pataf, breath, abracadabra. I speak, I create through speaking. They also showed me another thing. They said, whatever is burdening you, holding you back, bringing you distress, take it and give it to the page. But they had me take the energy and slap the floor or the notebook and say, give it to the page. And they said, look, now you have a full writing practice and you don't even need a pen. You just give the page. And then these cosmic librarians came in and said, we'll shelve it. They would shelve it. They say, we know where it is. If you need to access this stuff, we'll go get it for you. You don't have to carry it anymore. Replace your feathers, come back. But we're writing, we are now creating. And the other little thing I want to throw in here is that the metaphor is magic. Metaphor is like the symbolic staircase where you can't, if you can't fly, you can take the steps. The metaphor lets you grab the untouchable, lets you ground and find your perch. Metaphor is a perch. And so if you're struggling, change your metaphor, change your life. So in my writing practice, I say, everything I need is right here in front of me right now. So if I need to write about how I crashed and burned around the book, the first thing I see in front of me is this pen. And this pen is actually inscribed from a project I started called Send a Pen to Congress. Because I thought when we were in so much, when I didn't feel like Congress was helping us a few years ago, I thought, oh, they must not have pens. Let's start writing Congress letters of not what they're doing wrong, but what laws we want, what we want, and sending them pens and say, here's a pen. I want to law that, blah, 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 and tell them what we want, but give them pens to write the laws. So now I just say, okay, what's the closest thing to me? Here's this pen. And I just got really empowered by the story of this pen. So I think later I'm going to write about, use this as my metaphor. And do you know how deep this thing is going to take me? Whatever you need is right here. Say, so let's just say it's the dark night of the soul I went into. Is it the turtle rattle? Is it the turtle of the dark night? Is it the pen of the dark night? Is it the empty coffee cup of the night of the dark night? And just say, it gives you a little something to chew on and follow and let it be your medicine and take you where you need to go.
Beautiful. So much. Thank you. So much inspiration and creativity flowing through you. It's fun to listen to you talk, and it stirs the creativity in each of us, when we listen and we share in this way. So it's really powerful.
My metaphor might be my glasses that I'm not wearing right now. That'd be an amazing metaphor. How I have to take them off to talk to you so I can see you without the wall.
I know, and mine, especially with all the being outside, I've gotten to where I really enjoy doing my streams here from the deck, and they tint way down, so that's why sometimes I take mine down too to connect. And
you look amazing though. They're beautiful.
Oh, thank you. You do as well. When you were speaking of the glasses, one of the things I've been doing, I guess for a couple years, because I'm blessed enough, it's this year of 2020, and I'm speaking this, is I've been praying for my stronger physical vision uh, to be resurrected in this year of 2020. And yet I give gratitude, of course, for the instruments that help us. But a lot of times in my work, I know that's like so many of us, perhaps I'm on what I call on call. And so much of the time in just giving mode. And so for me, sometimes I say to myself, I'm going out on a journey and I'm just going to be. And inevitably, what I end up doing is, anchoring energies or giving the energy. And so sometimes with intention, I'll take my glasses off as I'm out in the woodlands, and I just, it helps me to just be and to be tuned more to all the sensories and without, sometimes it's interesting, as much of a gift as the glasses are for me, I also know that it limits us. It
Yes.
limits us. And so with intention, I don't know, like I said, how long ago I started doing that, but it's and I enjoy all the brothers and sisters of all the kingdoms, and I enjoy especially the winged ones. So I like to, if I hear one, and if I don't know what it is, or just want to see it, I like to have the glasses. But it's really amazing how just be and not analyze it, because as the word,
Well, and in the book, I have a poem that speaks to that.
would you have it there? Could you read it for us?
I would read it. It's actually a December poem, but I think it would be amazing to read for what we're saying.
Yeah, I want to hear it.
In the spiraling seasons, I don't even think we have to stay to this summer. I think we can take in the energy of winter now as we become new feathered beings, more expanded beings. And you just taught me that. So thank you. The title is My Stone Bear Closed One Eye This December. Actually tossed free one round turquoise bead she's peered through for 16 years. We're alike that way. I often choose not looking as my tool. If I knew where the blue bead ended up, I'd glue her back together. But maybe wait past winter solstice, past a good deep hibernation, when she'd feel like opening them again. I like the option of being able to soften my vision, remove my glasses, not have everything so cuttingly clear as a harsh north wind. Like painting snow and evergreens in the colors I feel rather than the way they look. Or crafting a poem the way I hear it rather than the way it was said. It's time to read past glaring headlines and inaugural thrones. See the moments as holy and our future in the sun's return. Holiday lights soften the pine needles on dark, long nights. Tinsel reflects like rainbows of ice, and a stillness is born away from crowded inns where people gather to avoid their loneliness. I don't need my eyes now, but the vision of sages who navigate by starlight and bring gifts for all of us by right of being born. The shelter of gold, healing of frankincense, the clarity of myrrh. I don't like my stone bear only having one eye. I turn her towards the wall to rest, see what emerges come spring. I know she will emerge with the brightening days that always brighten. And for now, I get to rest too.
So perfect.
That
I
was
must
unexpected.
I must have snuck in there and read that at some point. I was talk about in the records. I was going, hey, there's one that Val wrote in here. I'm going to speak to this, and she's going to go, I've got one for that. Wow, that's beautiful. Yes.
Thank you. So thank you. Medicine, everything is our medicine. Everything is our medicine. So everybody who hears this, I invite you to find what brings you back. I always carry little stones in my pocket. I pick up feathers. I let things speak to me and honor them and thank them. But whatever that is for you. Yeah.
Yeah. And that's, why, again, one of the blessings of this time when we've been, ordered to stay separate, and as we're coming out of it, and I know it's different in each location, but I'm speaking it almost daily that we're seeing people taking to the land now. A lot of families are, I'm seeing up in these parts up here in northwestern PA, the campers and trailers and kayaks and tents back on the road. It's so refreshing. It feels like a little bit of a flashback if we are on the linear timeline, because we really haven't seen that in a lot of years. Everyone, so many people have been choosing flight and so forth. But, so I was telling my mom, and I was talking with her, and we were traveling about the other day, and I said, so this is when people start spending more and more time outside, and hopefully we'll start reconnecting to Earth Mother and all the kingdoms, and remembering our oneness on that great web of life. And so they're too respecting in the way we live our daily lives, with the recycling and being responsible when we're out in nature, but also seeing the trees and not just chopping them down because it's an inconvenience, or we think they're in the place they shouldn't be, or just we decide we don't like it anymore, so we're going to chop that bush down or that tree down, or throw stuff into the waterways. When we start, you were speaking to picking up feathers and whatever that is, it helps us connect energetically, even if you're aware and conscious of why they're drawn to these, especially out in nature. It is so valuable to I always, as I'm sure you do, we ask with respect, is it okay if this comes with me? And many times I'll pick up pieces, whether it be rocks or feathers, and I bless them. I hold them in my altar. And then when I'm guided to, same thing with crystals, of course. And so many people work with with intention with the crystals and the grids, and to take them back out into places, or to gift them to people, certain, whether it be certain feathers or certain stones, or even for me, the different trees I have. It's been one of the joys. I'm back up currently in this space where I was born and raised. And so there's trees in this area that I haven't had as, my last 30 years or however long it's been in Florida is where I've been residing. And so I've missed the land. This time up has helped me really remember, not just, oh, hey, that looks nice, but into my heart, my soul, my connection. And
the seasons.
The seasons is, it's I've missed the seasons, where I was when I was in Central Florida. We had more of a season than you get if you get down into the tropics. But for me, like I said, it's part of it. It energizes us. It brings us this life force, and we exchange. And one of for those of you who tune in to my work and in my perch, the perch here on Tuesdays, I've talked especially recently about, one of my soul contracts and my great joys is to be anchoring in these new earth energies, the rainbow frequencies. And I am, offering opportunities to help others with to raise their vibration as we are ascending. And, our frequency, and Val started out the show speaking of our frequencies are changing, and we have to react in these physical, in our body temples. We have to do the work to invite in and then maintain those frequencies. So we have to, what are we eating? What are we drinking? Are we drinking the purified, blessing the water? And are we spending time out in nature and our way of beingness to be able to hold these frequencies? I know that I've gained about a healthy 10 pounds since I've come up here. And I was at a time of depletion when I arrived. And I was speaking again yesterday with another friend, and I was realizing, I worked out at the gym yesterday morning, and that's all changed too as compared to how I used to work out. But it's important to maintain these frequencies within our body temples and the grounding and all the things. There's maintenance, right? There's maintenance with the vehicles or that we ride, and the homes we live in, or the dwellings, but certainly our body temples. So again, just going back to this whole connection of when we spend time out on Earth Mother and these sacred kingdoms, can really just exchange of energy with them and give gratitude and be respectful. So important.
I have a poem. I have a poem for that.
Of course you do. Well,
I have 2 or 3 that are jumping in saying, "Hey, I want to."
Hey, I'm going to speak to what Pam's saying. Well, you pick one, and that'll take us just about up to the closing time here. Before we have to get away, we'll have a little bit of information to share with the viewers. But we would love to hear another one of your beautiful poems.
Well, this one is another medicine that's especially with me since I've been holding the book. And so I heard Jean Houston, a beloved teacher, speak about saying that every nation has their story. And I asked her what the United States of America, what our story is. And she said, oh, it's the Wizard of Oz. And then she released a book called The Wizard of Us. And that made so much sense to me for her to say the Wizard of Oz for our story. And so I teamed up with an artist in an art show that was poets and artists responding to each other. So she was my artist, I was her poet. And I looked at this this abstract painting she did, and it looked like almost like a little house was way on top of the earth, and in the earth looked like tulips and flowers trying to find their way up. And this poem came in that feels important for me to offer to you here, entitled There's No Place. Dorothy's house once again caught wing, yet this time there's no wickedness to soften her landing. The clouds intervened, and azure dreams wove a net so thick, bluebells and tulips had to stretch their necks to reach the light. Seeds blew up like kites, racing the sun to greet this girl who learned that home is everywhere.
Indeed. Indeed. Yes, that's beautiful. Your shares, your creations are such a blessing and a gift to humanity and to the world, to Earth Mother, kingdoms, and so grateful for you saying yes. And perhaps we will, if you're willing, I'd love to have you back on anytime, because I think you and I could just keep going and going and have lots to share, right?
We could riff off each other for a long time, girlfriend.
We could. And so Val and I have talked about maybe co-creating something in a location at some point when people are traveling about a little bit more. So I know I would love to get out to the Colorado areas. So perhaps here we create something fun and enriching and nourishing and healing for people. Opportunity to come into a sacred space and see what we can create for everyone. Val is she's got a Facebook page or her website. Find her. I think Tiffany has been putting information up on the screen. I've been seeing you scrolling by at poetval.com is where you can reach out to Val and certainly purchase one of those new beautiful books of hers. I encourage everyone to do that and to share the link for our share today on the perch, so that those who did not join us live can catch us in divine time when it's most convenient for them. And I know I'll go back and watch, because as always, excuse me, with those of us who share in this way, we set the intention, and there's always transmission. There's giving and receiving of good medicine in our beingness, in our shares. And so we ask you to please, forward this link as you feel guided on your social media and to your family and friends. We really appreciate it. For those of you who, if you've not yet checked out my Facebook page, I do not have a website yet. And, my mission is expanding and expanding, more opportunities. I see me traveling more about soon, as I'm helping again to help people anchor in these new earth energies. If you've not seen some of the amazing documents of the photographs, there's transmission moving through those beautiful photographs. And as honor of, as you're seeing my light body as I'm shifting dimensionally, and as a wayshower.
The light just blasts the camera. You may need to upgrade your camera to take in some more of that light. It's like, wow.
And I'll tell you, and being in that energy is just, there are no words. It's divine. And, it's so much fun. It's much joy. And I hold that in a sacred way, as I know you do with your work and your sacred walk. And so again, I encourage everyone to check out my Facebook page, and I've got some tabs you can schedule with me. I do spiritual guidance and this sacred soul evolutionary expansion that we're all moving through, as well as a lot of the teachings of the mastery teachings from the 7 sacred flames. And my sacred flute. Some of you have heard me praying as well with my flute, and I've vision Val and I sitting about somewhere, standing about, and I can hear the flutes echoing off the canyons and the hills and the waterways. So we'll see what comes to be. Val, I'm going to just once again say thank you so much, and
Thank you.
so much gratitude to you, Sacred Sister. We've got just a couple minutes. Would you do us the honors of playing us out? And just
I would love to. Thank you. I'm prompted to go to a really deep earth tone flute for the play out.
Great. Just get our feet down there on Earth Mother, or envision the rooting from the bottoms of our feet, and just breathing into this sacred space with gratitude. And as Val plays us out, I will look forward to catching all of you and seeing you here on the perch next Tuesday, same time.
Thank you. So this is a song of gratitude and return.
don't want the fun to end? Grab more refreshments. Then head over to the Goldylocks Productions YouTube channel. With the huge selection of shows, the fun doesn't have to end.